Good morning, everybody. Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to the Cruise News. Now, before we jump into the Cruise News stories, we talked this past Sunday about new menus that were going to be coming out, starting out on the Carnival Dream. And if you go over to John Hill, the brand ambassador for Carnival Cruise Lines, you go over to his Facebook page, he has been posting menus from the Carnival Dream on there if you want to see what some of the offerings are. You know, they said there were going to be changes like options from the specialty restaurants, and sure enough, and I did see those offerings on there, but I guess shouldn't really be any surprise they weren't free. But if you want to see what changes Carnival is looking to make, I said hop over, hit to his Facebook page, and those menus are available. At least the last couple of days, those are now available on there for you to take a look at. Next up, we're going to talk about Norwegian Cruise Lines. So they sent an email out to crew members letting them know that several of their production shows on board their ships were going to be discontinued, and that this would allow the company to change and focus on new and updated shows. The changes aim at elevating the offerings, the statement reads, in order to exceed the expectation of the company's guests. As part of a broader company-wide initiative, we are making some strategic adjustments to ensure that we operate our business effectively, cohesively, and profitably while delivering a full program of exceptional products. Now, for me, and some of the things we've seen from Norwegian recently with price increases and some other stuff, I kind of wonder, is the word profitability really the key focus in that statement? Are they canceling these shows to go with something that is cheaper, something that costs less, or are they actually going to be coming out with new innovative shows that are going to be better than the ones that they're taking out of production? Now, they go on to say, we remain committed to delivering innovative and cutting-edge shows that captivate and inspire our guests. We are thrilled to announce that we will raise the bar even further. According to Norwegian, they're going to make even better shows. Now, we have a list of the shows, when they're going to be canceled, and what ships they're going to be canceled on. So we start off with Swing, which will no longer be offered on the Norwegian Gem, starting on July 7th, 2023. We have the World Beat, which will no longer be on the Norwegian Spirit and the Norwegian Sun, starting August 16th and October 11th. Velvet will no longer be on the Norwegian Jewel, starting September the 25th of 2023. What the World Needs Now will no longer be on the Norwegian Star, starting October the 11th. Footloose will no longer be on the Norwegian Joy, starting on October the 28th. Showdown will no longer be on the Norwegian Dawn, starting November the 4th. And Six will no longer be on the Norwegian Breakaway and the Norwegian Bliss, starting respectively both January 26, 2024 and February 24th of 2024. So those are the shows that they're going to be canceled, the ships and the dates that will all go into effect. We understand that change can be difficult, but we are confident that these adjustments will allow us to create a more memorable experience for our guests. This is a truly exciting time of growth and transformation for our company and industry, and we are honored to be at the forefront of this evolution. So those are the changes that are coming to Norwegian Cruise Lines. Now, what do you guys think? Are these shows that you're sad that are going to be going away? Are you excited for new shows that are going to be coming to Norwegian? Now, Norwegian also said that the new shows, what is going to be replacing these production shows, that announcement will come in the following month. So they've announced all the cancellations, that they're going to create something new, but at this point, we don't know what that something new is. And once these shows come out, I guess we're honestly going to see at that point, are we truly going to see new innovative shows, or is Norwegian going to use this as a way to cut additional costs? Because these production shows, yeah, they can get expensive. The cast, the crew, the props, the costumes, all that can add up. Any copywriting, licensings that they have to have for these shows. So are we going to see something new, or are we going to see the entertainment and production value go down on the ships? At this point, it's only time is actually going to answer that question. And as soon as we know something, we'll of course share it with everybody out there. Next, Royal Caribbean's newest cruise ship, Icon of the Seas. Well, she has begun her sea trials this week. Well, she'll be out testing maneuverability, speed, the onboard systems, it's kind of making just kind of making sure everything on board the ship is good and ready to go. Now, this is the first of 2 sea trials that she is going to be doing, and we're still in the building process, still have plenty of time to go before Icon of the Seas is going to be out and sailing. She's still not scheduled to take her first cruise with paying passengers until January of 2024. This is just another step in the production process, but it does mean we are getting closer and closer to Icon of the Seas joining the Royal Caribbean fleet. And finally, we have another price increase, but this time it's not coming from the cruise line. So it's not your Carnivals, your Royals, your Norwegians raising their price. This time, it's the Bahamas. And they're looking to increase the taxes per passenger by almost 78% each. Now, if you go on a cruise to the Bahamas, you've been on a cruise to the Bahamas, you've already been paying passenger tax. That part is, it's actually a pretty common thing. You'll see it on your cruise, port fees, port taxes, that sort of stuff. That's the taxes and stuff you're already paying to go to these particular destinations. They charge them to the cruise lines. The cruise lines, of course, redirects those charges back to you. And you see it on your cruise documentation as port fees and taxes, which is why if you skip that port, normally you automatically get port fees and taxes back for a missed port, because cruise line didn't have to pay them for you going there, which means you can get them back. So you're already paying. So this isn't a new tax, but this is an increase in their tax. Now, this comes right after, back in May, the very first part of their $300 million renovation project there in Nassau at the cruise dock. They built new docks to hold more ships, more people. They redid the cruise port area that opened up back in May. And since then, they now want to increase their amount of tax revenue that they get. Now, they currently estimated to get about $50 million a year. They want to triple that up to $150 million per year, and they want to do it by taxing cruise passengers. So currently, on average per person, you pay about $18 per person when you visit the Bahamas. Now, this also includes the private islands. So if you go to Half Moon, if you go to Castaway, you go to Coco Cay, any of those private islands that are still in the Bahamas, you still pay this passenger tax even when you go to those islands. Now, in the grand scheme of things, 78% really, it sounds like a big number, but said each passenger is currently paying $18. So if you go visit Nassau, you go visit Freeport, one of the, tourist type stops there in the Bahamas, it's going to go from $18 up to $23 per person. So it's a $5 increase there. And if you go to one of the private islands that does not stop in like Nassau or Freeport, then the price goes from $18 to $25 per person. Now, on top of that, they also want to add a $5 environmental levy and a $2 enhancement levy per person. So instead of the original 18, it's now either going to be $30 or $32 per person. And when you think of the, thousands and thousands of cruise passengers that go visit the Bahamas, that's quite a bit of a jump, and how they plan to triple their tax income. Now, for an individual cruise passenger, it's an increase of $14 if you're going to the Bahamas, which for most people, $14 probably is not, a super big deal. It's not a deal breaker when you take a cruise, but if you got a family of 4, that can add up. And if you look at all of the other tax increases or price increases that we've seen from the cruise lines since the restart of cruising, it does start to add up over time. But you guys let me know what you think. Do you think a price increase in the Bahamas, is it warranted? Is Nassau and Freeport some cruise stops that, must go to cruise stops that are worth a tax increase? Do you think the tax increases will help the ports develop even more? Because, you hear a lot of stories of people that just don't even get off in Nassau. Whether they don't enjoy the port or they've just simply been there so many times, they don't even get off. Now, I know private islands are usually a whole different story. People do enjoy getting off there. You don't hear as many stories about them wanting to stay on the ship, when it's docked at Perfect Day at Coco Cay, for an example. But you guys let me know what you think about a tax increase. Like I said, $14, when you look at it at just $14, it doesn't really seem like it's a whole big change. But when you look at it as a cruise industry overall with some of the price increases we've had, an extra $14, could rub a few people the wrong way. So let me know what you think about Bahamas increasing their taxes. And that's going to be our cruise news video for today. If you've enjoyed today's video, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you haven't done so yet, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It is free to do so. Helps our channel grow. Let you know anytime we put out a new video. Hope everyone out there is having a really great day. And like always, we will see you out on the high seas.